So did you both have a good night's sleep?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Nice. I actually dreamt in animation.
No way.
I like animated movies, but tonight I dreamt like it was animated people and everything, but who says that ain't real?
You get to make it up, man. You get to create whatever you want.
Ever since we talked yesterday about that, my dreams have become very vivid.
Wow. So basically you're seeing things in your dreams.
Yeah, a little, but most of the time it's when I just before I wake up shouting, "Get the oh!" My wife used to tell me I was very dangerous to sleep next to. I don't. I think I go to sleep the same way I wake up, but sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm lying with my head where my feet's supposed to be, and next morning
Oh,
I lie back where I should be, but I don't think I move a lot. But she said, "Oh my God, you'll just turn a little over, and then a right hook will just slam down if you don't move away fast." But I've never been aggressive or a person who got mad, but I think in my dreams I actually have a lot of anger issues.
yeah. Yeah, whatever is in the unconscious, we may suppress it in our waking moments, and in our sleep, they will reveal themselves and come out.
Yeah, but I never felt angry about anything. I just felt that I didn't understand why people would act that way. So always the other side that I don't understand it, that there's no explanation for people acting like assholes.
Well, for me, there is, because that's who I have been for many, many years.
I've always been like this, but then I needed to learn in school, so I started smoking weed to actually dumb myself down to actually learn or limit myself because before that I was one big question. Seventh grade, I had lousy grades, but then I started smoking. Oh my God, my grades just skyrocketed upwards because I could actually focus on it.
Wow.
I'm different from what they normally say. You get stupid from smoking. No, I actually got a focus. Before then, I think I was just too intuitive to actually care about school because no meaning in it. Why should I ever want to learn that? And I still wonder why did I ever learn it? Because it's only giving me some language skills. I can use that, but I never really used my math. I never used my chemistry, my physics, whatever I've done. It's got no real use in any of my educations or anything. It's just knowledge for the sake of knowledge.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess in hindsight, if I was to look back at it, it's an exploration into the potential of what your interests are, and those were none of my interests. My
When you
interests
think
were
about it, how many
more,
chemists are needed in the world? Not many. Why do we
yeah,
have it on this? If it's a be a college choice, the same with physics. You don't use it unless you work with physics. It's not normal for a car, a mechanic, a shipbuilder, whatever. They don't use physics. They just use logic. It's sort
yeah,
of. I don't even see a baker, a farmer, whomever the normal educations that 90% of the populations do. don't need half of the curriculum. It should be more advanced up in the higher grade. That's why I say school should be divided into three to start with. From first to fourth grade, it should be everyone together. Then you should see if you're creative, if you're mathematic, or if you're linguistic. Then you can divide into three different schools for those and explore on that. Then we got way more professional taught students.
Mm.
It's like they
Heinz,
say.
Heinz. So if you were to explore the possibility of creating that in the world, how would that look?
They
Explore
would
the
say
possibility.
it's labeling, but they're doing the labeling. They actually told me I was a mathematic, but now I speak Danish, I speak Norwegian, I speak German, I speak English, and some Swedish.
Cool.
I was married to a Norwegian. My dad was German, so I had German in school. I haven't used it, what, 30 years, but I still speak it. I just need to be with some German people, then I actually get to use my German. But until I need it, I don't use it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other German-speaking people where you live too, eh?
Oh, just south of the border.
Okay.
Oh, my dad speak it, but then you had to make him real mad. I haven't seen him for 10, 15 years or so, but we talk yearly, twice a year. I call him on his birthday and I call him on Christmas.
Okay.
I actually live in the same city as him now, but
Really?
he's a proud man. He'll not ask me for help, and he knows I'm a helper, but I don't think he ever want to have anybody see that he's getting old or whatever, or admit it. I think he'll be fresh till the day he dies. Yep, he don't do sick. He don't do many. He's a self-made man. But I actually would enjoy that he would call, hey, can you go buy some milk and get over here because we are lying in bed? Yeah, that would be nice. It's nice to be needed.
Mm.
Nice to be of service to your parents who serviced you when you were a kid.
Well, could that be a possibility for you to show up for him?
Yeah, I would show up when, like I say, whenever people would call me or ask for my help, I enjoy doing it. It gives me something to do. I've been early retired for over 10 years now. Each day is just, what will I do today?
Yeah.
I go for a 1 hour walk each morning, and the last year I really spent with my parrot because she's getting old, so I'm giving her the love she's been giving me. But I would like to be of service to other people, but I looked for a volunteer job, but then I realized, it would mean that I would probably have to put my parrot on hold, and I don't want to do that. So as soon as she's left this place, I'll go out and see if I can help some strangers instead. Just, I think there's a lot of old people who are actually lonely.
Oh yeah. Yep. And so I'm going to suggest something, like, obviously whatever you do with it is entirely up to you. But what if you just showed up at your dad's place, gave him a big hug, don't project anything, just show up in your heart.
Oh, I don't even know where he lives. They moved from where I knew he was living.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
I can look it up on the internet, but
Well, there's an opportunity.
I don't want to give him a heart attack. Are you kidding me?
There's an opportunity, right? Like every day we have that opportunity and possibility to show up for those we care about. So I'm going to leave, obviously it's entirely up to you, whatever you choose to do, but just realizing, that's a possibility before it's too late. I'll tell you why I'm sharing this. So 2019, I estranged myself from my father, and only recently, like in, I don't know, June or July of 2023 this year, I have reconnected with him, and I've done a lot of self work in the meantime, to release the past, to forgive, to let go of my own projections of my father and all the traumas and the pain and the abuse, etc., and to see him in his heart as he really is, as who he really is, not all the stories aside, all the trauma, all of his past, and just see the creator that he is in his heart, the beautiful being that he is. And so last Friday, I actually just I said, "Are you guys around?" "Yeah." "Okay, I'm gonna pop out and say hi. Want to see you guys." And this was like the morning of. I drove an hour to go see them, and I came to the door, and I was in my heart, and I just, as soon as he opened the door, I like wrapped my arms around him, and I held on for probably a good minute till it was so uncomfortable for him, but I just like gave him love, and we had a powerful conversation after that. Just a very heart-centered kind of conversation. And like, I always viewed my dad as a bully, and I projected that onto him. I viewed myself as a victim, and I viewed him as my bully and a very controlling person, etc. And I've dropped that. I've just dropped that lens, and now I see him as who he is in his heart. Not all the stories, not all the bullshit, just who he truly authentically is. And I choose to be who I truly authentically am. And the conversation that we had was so powerful and so connected, so heart connected. Like, we now have the relationship that I always wanted my whole entire life. We're now friends, and we're peers, we're equals. And that's what I wish for everyone on the planet. So that's just my story from last Friday. We've been connected. I've been staying connected with him, sending him little messages of how much I love him and appreciate him. And that's the possibility. That's what I'm sharing here with this story, is that's the possibility for you, for everyone on the planet. And when we do this work, and it's not even really work, right? When we're in our heart, it's not work. When we're in our head, it's work. When we're telling ourselves stories of the past, of like, oh, they're this and they're that, we're actually projecting that onto them. We're actually creating that result. We're generating that. We are responsible for generating them and placing them in a box. And when we drop the story and we just show up in our heart and we just love, that's where the power is. Yep. So yeah, I invite you into this. It's a possibility. It's entirely up to you, and see where it takes you.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but I'm just afraid of giving him a heart attack.
Well, maybe he'll die happy because you showed up and you gave him a big hug and you told him you love him.
Yeah.
And who cares how, like, if he resists it, that's up to him, right? This is about you being authentic and you being real. And it's a possibility, right? It could be an exercise if you want to view it that way. Or it could just be, hey, I love you, Dad. And that's it. No expectation. I don't need any reciprocation. I just love you, and I'm grateful for that you gave me life. And here we are.
I spent ever since I left my wife, and then until my mom died, I was out there each day. I actually slept out at her place for 3 months until I could get back into the apartment. And then my mom died, and then a month after, my ex-wife died. So there, but I actually did what you said there. Just spent all my time with my mom. I actually never really knew my parents because they were way too busy building a store. a car dealership. So took a lot of time that they didn't have for me. And as soon as you get to your teens, then you don't want to spend time with your parents. Then when they didn't want to spend time with you, you're not interested in spending time with them. So it became a, what you call it, double-edged knife. But the last couple of years, I actually enjoyed being with my mom. And actually, we had, like you said, with your father, we had a lot of great conversations. But she would also call each day and ask, hey, I need that. Can you go? Yeah, I'll go get it. So you're right. You just need to leave all the BS behind and just move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, don't need to. You get to if you choose that, you get to. Don't need to do anything.
Then nothing
It's just
will happen. Nothing will definitely happen if you do nothing.
Yeah, got her.
It's about the choices.
Yeah, and the time is now. The time is only ever now. There is no future point in time. That's a mental construct. There's no past. That's a mental construct. There's only now. So when we show up now and now and now, we're contributing and we're shifting bit by bit the planet, right? By shifting ourselves.
And we had a real positive talk last time on the 9th of 9th, 9th September, when it was his birthday, because I said he actually heard about me moving, and then I told him about I stopped with my medication and I stopped smoking. Wow, that's great, because what every parent wants is the best for you.
Mm.
So it was actually pretty enjoyable. So I might just do what you're saying, but not today. Today it's raining. And I've been out and I've become wet and I've gone in and I've dried myself off. Now I just want to enjoy a good Friday with my bird and with you guys.
Hey.
It's what I enjoy each day. It's having that, what is it called? Heart to heart.
Yeah, heart connection, eh?
Yep.
Like that's really what this space is all about, is living life large from our hearts. Because we're heart-centered creators. And when, like, everyone has that possibility, the whole planet has that possibility. Imagine a world where everyone showed up as their authentic self, as authentic heart-centered creators. There would be no more war, period. It would stop immediately, because when we're in our heart, we forgive the past, we release the past, we live in the now, and we create things that are in the highest good of all.
Yep. Afternoon, Ian.
Afternoon, everyone. Morning, everyone. Hello.
Afternoon,
Hello.
Evan.
Hi.
Hi, Ian.
Beautiful, beautiful heart-centered creator, Ian. How are you enjoying Mastery so far? Are you diving into that?
Yeah, I've got on a one-to-one, like the implementation session yesterday. It was really nice. And the people there are really heart-centered, so yeah, it's nice.
Awesome. May I ask which programs are included in Mastery?
All of them.
All of them. Wow.
Apart from the coaching. Yeah.
Wow.
Intuition, creator, and can't remember the other one. But yeah, all of them apart from the coaching.
Wow. Is the certification included in that as well? Or?
No, the certification isn't. All the others are.
Is superconscious transformation included in that? Or?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay. So you can learn the recode.
Yeah, I can learn the recode, yeah.
Awesome.
I haven't got to that stage yet, though.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of information to not just consume, but to apply and implement. Man, good for you, Ian. Becoming the powerful creator that you were born to be.
I want to ask you a question, Will. Do you know, like he came on he came on about a week ago, I think, the first time for a while, and you said that you've like basically fully embodied your higher self, you're in your heart. What's the moment that you knew you were there officially, that you'd reached that point?
What's the
Like, what was
moment?
that moment? That moment that you just knew. Yeah, that moment that you just knew.
Yeah, good question. That's a really good question.
Like the second you were like, I've done it, I'm in my heart, I'm fully embodying my true authentic self, that moment.
It's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny that you asked that because like when I when I when I dive into that question, I go into my head, which is not being in my heart because I'm actually going into the memory of that experience and I actually don't remember it.
Mm.
So I guess my answer would be it's now.
Or better words, the feeling
It's now. Like it's
now.
now
Yeah.
and now and now. And that's the opportunity, that's the possibility, that's where it is. It's in the now. It's not in the past, it's not in the future. It's
Mm.
being in my heart, like right now, right here and now with you guys, like feeling love for you guys, feeling love for all humanity, experiencing love for the self, like just like being super conscious, really, ultimately. It's the knowingness, it's the greatness, it's the genius as we refer to it. It's the gift, it's the possibility that each one of us has inside us when we're in our heart. When we're going into story, we're going into our head, we're going into the past, we're going into memory, we're going into our limitation. When we're here and now, there's only pure possibility. And when we're in our heart, we have the opportunity to embody beingness in the highest good of all. Because when we are being it, when we're being love, when we're being kindness, like even like if you're to refer to this beingness as the fruits of God's spirit, the fruits of his spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, and self-control. We can actually embody these qualities. We can be it. We can be these qualities when we're in our heart. Sindrell, does that answer your question, Ian?
Yeah,
Good
thank
morning.
you.
What was
Good
the
morning.
question? Good morning.
Oh, you might have to watch the replay. That one just kind of came out.
Good morning, Sindrell. So, Ian, what did you hear?
I didn't hear you. Ian went to where?
What did I
Ian?
hear?
Yeah.
The moment he realized was when he was fully in the present moment, not looking at the past, not looking into the future, and he could feel love for everyone and everything. Like I'm feeling it, like I see a slug,
Aw.
and I'm feeling love for the slug. I see, yeah, just feeling love for everything and everyone, and being in the present moment and fully letting go of the past and future.
Mm,
Feeling the oneness and all.
mm,
Thank you.
mm.
To your question, which was, how did you know that you were in your heart or of something in that realm? Like, and what I heard in Will's response was when he chose it.
Mm.
And when he chooses it every time. Brilliant responses. I choose it now, which would be different than when he chose it before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the
Yes.
choice, or you could also use the word the intention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I heard in the response.
And it feels like you are there, but like everything else, you can always take it further.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always more to explore. It's endless.
Mhm. There, so I came up with this quote, I don't know, probably about 14 years ago or so. And it is, there is only unlimited possibilities. And in hindsight, I now understand that so much more. And it came from that knowingness, right? That knowingness inside of what's possible for everyone and anyone. You know, obviously there can be limitations. As humans, we have certain limitations. And but when we're in our heart, there's unlimited possibility available.
I'm starting to see where I've limited myself. Yeah. Like with my health, I can see where I've given my power away, but I can also see where I've been really conditioned. Like when I've gone to the doctors, and I've noticed with my specialist when I go and see him, he tells me what could happen in the future, the risks. He doesn't focus on the present moment. So next time I see him, I'm going to say, I don't want to know about the future, what's happening right now. That's what I'm going to say to next time I see him.
Yay! Awesome. Good for
And
you, man.
I've also seen that what I'm becoming quite passionate about is when I've gone to the doctors in the past, they've told me before I've done this conscious education, before this, they would tell me stuff, and then I would believe what they say, and then I would create that. Like, say to me, they would say, "Oh, you're going to become diabetic. There's a high chance," and then because I believed that, I became diabetic. What they've told me, I believed. And I see that I've created it myself because of the conditioning from medical professionals. So I'm going to go and I'm going to kick some ass, and I am going to say to them, be really mindful what you say to your patients, because if someone's got cancer and the doctor says to them, you've got 6 months to live, and that person believes that, they will die in 6 months. They have to be so careful what they say to their patients, and that's something that I really feel like I'm gonna advocate in the near future. because I've seen it within myself that I've manifested it because of what they've said.
Yeah, here you go, Ian.
So I'm gonna go and kick some ass when I see them next, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Talk about
Yes.
taking the power back, man. Standing in your power. Good for you.
So I had a challenge, and you will when you said, what's your saying? Infinite possibilities. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. There's only unlimited possibility.
Right. And then you said we're only limited in our physical being. Maybe rephrasing it. Those weren't your exact words. And they interpreted in me that there's not even limitation in our physical beingness, because in it we always have choice of our unlimited beingness. And then Ian comes back and proves that hypothesis to be true when he's been living under the words that the doctors have said about the body, what is to be in the body. And then he's taken the power back to the unlimited living existingness, that all possibilities are possible. So even though the doctors get locked in on one channel, he just turned to he's just turning the channel, because there's infinite possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We govern our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
We govern.
Unless we give our power away.
Unless
to
we give
someone
our
else.
Exactly. But
Awesome.
I do appreciate doctors for whatever level of tools or communications that they offer. But it's just information.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to internalize it to create what they speak or anyone else. That's why we are super conscious creators. And here we get to fine tune our talents of knowing that. Thank
Good morning,
you.
Craig.
Morning, Craig.
Woo!
Awesome,
Morning,
Centrell.
Craig.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hey, guys,
Great.
I'm going to bounce. I got an appointment coming up here, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have an
Have a
awesome,
blessed
creative, powerful day.
But I will.
Thank you.
day.
Bye-bye.
Big
Wow.
love, Will, where you're gone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I like where this
Morning, Craig.
conversation went in the few minutes I've been on.
Oh, Craig. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Wasn't that from an old show? I think I heard it on some sort of movie, they either on the radio playing in the background or something.
Yeah, it sounds like some Mr. Rogers kind of song, or Sesame Street.
Oh, okay.
Always love
Good
Sesame
morning. Good morning. Do, 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 do. Good morning. Good morning to you. I remember hearing that. I don't know where from, but I remember hearing it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
There's something else I would like to
intentions.
share. Sorry.
I just pointing to how important our intentions, our choices, our stories are.
And what Ian said just shows how powerful Everyone is. The doctor just needs to tell you something, and you actually do it.
I was just gonna say, for the past few years, every time I've seen my specialist, because they say it's mutation, but they say it's really rare, the one I've got. Anyway, they've always said to me about my heart, and they've always said to me about the high risk of heart failure. And they've always said to me I need to be careful of my heart, I need to go for regular checkups. So I was conditioned to believe that I'm going to develop heart issues. Anyway, I did develop a few heart issues. My heart function went down when I went for a scan. They said it was 35%. Anyway, since I've been doing this work, I went for another scan and my heart function's gone back up. It's gone back up to like near enough normal.
Isn't that interesting?
And my diabetes has gone low as well, like my blood sugar, and yeah, because I was always told that your heart, be careful of your heart. But now I don't believe that, and believe my heart, I don't believe that anymore. It's gone up.
It's funny when we start looking at ourselves, whatever people say doesn't really matter.
You know, I got something that'll help you right away. You use the word my heart, my diabetes, which means that you're identifying yourself with that. So you can call it a condition, but it's not your condition. So a heart condition. So you could say there's a heart condition in my field. Okay, and then address it like that, as if it's not in you, but it's in your field.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know how to word it, so yeah, that helped. Thank you.
Yeah, because when you call it mine, it becomes that. It
There's a
kind
heart
of,
condition in
you
my
give it a
field.
place, right? You give it a power, you give it a place.
There's a heart condition in my field. I'm just starting to see how powerful I am, and no matter what anyone says, I just starting to see that I get to decide. No doctor can tell me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very interesting how that's coming up this morning, and with me too. Like, coming back here, I've noticed over the last few days that I've noticed the sense of dark energy has been increasing over the last few days. And that might have something to do with my environment. It might have something to do with staying at the men's hostel. And so what I'm doing today is I'm going to be really careful about what kind of help that I reach out for. And also, I'm gonna I intend, or I choose to create a nice, safe space for the weekend that I can rehab in, that I can renew my batteries, that I can recharge, and develop a whole brand new approach to being here.
Yes, I love that for you.
Yeah, and decide whether or not it's even necessary that I am here.
Yes.
Because it might not be.
You're, oh my God. So Ian was, oh my God. So as you were sharing about using the word, my heart condition, blah, blah, like all of that. I'm experiencing, sometimes we are called into places because we are so receptive of the light. And I was reminded of how light is love. And where there is light, there is not darkness. And once lightness shines, the darkness does not consume the light. The light changes the darkness. And wherever you are, just know you're the light. You go into that, wherever you going, there's that prayer. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You are the light. You saying that prayer, you ruminating that prayer, you being the essence of that prayer, you being the light of love. That what you're feeling, the darkness that's in those places, you are there to bring the light. And when you stand in knowing who you are, then you be the light and not consumed and take on the attributes of the darkness. Yes. Your light is needed wherever you go. And Ian is like what you're going through. I'm not a prophetess or anything, but what I'm feeling and seeing is you're coming through a travail to bring through a light and a place of the consciousness of all those, even the other patients that see you, they marvel at your light and they want that light. And one fire lights another fire, like a car getting a jump start. It's a craving. It incites an addiction. Like get this addiction. This is an addiction. Get this and spread it. Spreading the light, spreading the love. And then there's that little song that I didn't know what it meant before. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Boom, boom.
Hide it under a bush. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it be consumed in a shelter. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Darkened at the gateways of the hospital doctor's doors. No, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Come on, children. You know who you are.
Just hang on a second. Let's explore this some more. Because this is going somewhere really, really deep. Okay, so I've been at this shelter for 3 days, and I've been shining light here, and everybody around me knows it. Like I mentioned yesterday morning that somebody accused me of smiling all the time, and which is a nice thing to be accused of. But anyway, but the interesting thing is that's kind of throughout my life, that's kind of been my natural state of being an optimist and shining light in situations and doing that and lifting everybody up and all those kind of things. However, what I realized overnight last night is that it's time for me to self-care. It's time for me to pamper myself. And even though this has been a fruitful experience these 3 days, it's time for me to find a place to be where I can vision and design my future in light of all that I've learned this week. So that's why I was saying that I'm going to manifest a motel room and somewhere, somewhere that's safe and quiet and where I can meditate or nap or recharge my batteries or do whatever comes to me, do whatever it takes. So that's where I'm at.
Did it go well with the lawyer yesterday?
Well, it depends how you want to look at it.
Okay.
I was kind of dejected because he basically said that I didn't have a hope. So the good thing about that is it just takes another thing off the table. And it's another concern that I had that doesn't have to be there anymore. So now I can let go of it, or at least begin to let go of it. And that's part of the reason behind self-care too. I had a really uncomfortable night, like uncomfortable physically, but I had a major gut and middle back ache all night. And I know that was an energetic thing, like an energy lump that seems to have dissipated this morning, actually. And what I'm experimenting with this morning is this question: Can I choose my way through this? Can I choose my way through this sensation that I'm feeling?
So the lawyer actually gave you closure yesterday.
Well, yeah, he kind of hinted at that. And then I spent the afternoon calling around to old friends to see if I could get any help. And and I kept getting no after no after no. So
it tells more about them than it tells about you.
Well, yeah, and because the thing is, it's giving me a sense that this is not the place for me to stay. Like, this city isn't the place for me to stay. It's time to close the door and go.
Yes.
So so that's it. So I'm debating. I'm kind of debating what there is that kind of keeps me here and for how long. And and where else I could go. Now, in the meantime, and even this weekend, I can start sorting out some stuff that I've been carrying around in my car that I don't need anymore. And some of that stuff can be shredded, and it'll take the weight off my car, for one thing. And so there's that kind of stuff I can do while I'm kind of contemplating what my heart desires.
You did meet some people on the trip up there who were talking about what you needed to stay. Was it at the beach or I can't fully remember it. But they gave you some possible possibilities.
Well, you know, and that's one of the things that's kind of been missing for me over the last few days is the, you know, just spending that time with possibilities and potential energy. You know, like letting my dream nature go crazy for a while. You know, and that's part of my self-care too.
Yeah.
You know, is just doing that. Okay, like dreaming and visioning feed me. They nourish my soul. So it's time for that.
It's like the city is limiting on you. It puts limits on you.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't make, I was going to say it makes me think something, but it doesn't make me think. What it does is it gives me hints as to trying to work out a solution or trying to solve the problems that are here or those kinds of things. And quite frankly, I don't want to be in that space if I don't absolutely have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of more about sitting back and letting things come to me instead of trying to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I look back on yesterday, if I would have been in a correct state of mind for me, I just would have been, instead of phoning everybody and their dog, what I would have done is just sit in silence and allow something to come.
It's what the trip showed you. It showed you actually went out and you grabbed life instead of you have to wait for life to come to you.
Well, exactly. Because the thing is, my real support isn't here anyway. Okay. In fact, what kind of interesting thing, I was washing my face this morning, and this one came to me too. What I was really looking for is, when I picked up the phone, is I wasn't looking for money. I wasn't necessarily looking for support. Okay. One person offered to pay for a motel room for me, which kind of blew me away. And I'm gonna pursue that. Like, I'm not gonna pursue that gift, but I'm gonna pursue that person, because that those people kind of get me, if that makes any sense. But the interesting thing is, what I realized when I was washing my face is that what I really wanted, is human contact that is open to having some kind of an intimate conversation with me. And it was interesting to me that there was only one person that I talked to yesterday that was even open to having an intimate conversation with me. You know, so for me, the human contact is kind of an important, yeah, it's an important part of the picture for me. You know, intimate human contact of some kind. And it's interesting to me, the people that I had been in intimate contact with have all of a sudden become closed. So, you know, now I know the truth of that as well. And the thing is, you know, it's not those people that I'm looking for support from. It's you know, it's the entities and deities that I've met along my road that I'm really looking for support from. So I choose to receive all the support the cosmos has for me today.
Yeah, like you said, that great conversation you had with the homeless guy. 3 hours with a stranger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. See, and that kind of thing does things for me self-care wise.
Mm-hmm. Simplest things in life are often the most beautiful. The complex takes a lot of work to get into.
Yeah.
So maybe that trip back to Salem wasn't about getting to Salem. It was all about the trip.
It was all about the trip, and it was about closing off things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you got there, everything was shut down anyway.
Well, yeah.
You didn't need to close it yourself. They've already shut it down.
Yeah.
So the trip was actually about confirming what you already knew.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is I haven't been able to see the path in front of me. However, part of the reason for that is because I haven't taken the time to create it yet.
Maybe you already have created it on the trip.
Right. And yeah. Well, you know, there were a few places along the way where I considered stopping and getting an apartment. You know?
See, that was the point of the trip, finding a place where you actually felt you could make a difference, where you could belong.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know, maybe. Belong.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was really fascinated by Mount Shasta when I was there. you know, and it's only, it's less than an hour's drive from the Oregon border. So, you know, maybe that's it too. Maybe I'm drawn there. I don't know.
Funny, I was actually thinking about that place because that was where you got there and the healing meditation started 10 minutes after you got there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It sort of was way in sync with you.
Well, yeah. In some kind of strange way, yes. Yeah. You know, and there's been so many signs and signs and signals about what is unfolding in the next few months, but also into 2024. And yeah. So there's something there too. You know, I mean, the bigger picture for me is this is all about um, cutting off an old life and stepping into a new one.
It's always a little scary because it's the unknown.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, and there's so much promise. There's so much promise in it. But even then, it's wow. Interesting thing is, I was like this when I was in my late teens.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right out of high school, like I grew up in Canada. I graduated at 16, and that the fall after I graduated high school, I went and joined a Jesus People group in California. And that was my what's interesting is that was my first introduction. Spent a lot of time working with people at a rescue mission. So that was my first introduction. I had never ever heard of a rescue mission before that. And that was one of the things that we did as a group, as a project, was working with people who were on the street, who were homeless. So it's kind of interesting how my life has kind of come full circle that way.
It's the authenticity of your true self.
Well, yeah, yeah. Among other things too, and you know, and knowing, yeah, following a cosmic intention.
And the space in between was where you got to be part of the machine. Work, work, work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the machine doesn't solve anything.
No, it uses you until you're worn out, and then it shifts, takes a new person and put in your place to make the machine run again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, I have a certain amount of money to work with as well. Once I get my hands on that, I didn't want to sign off on it until I talked to that lawyer and found out what my options were. So that's the other thing too.
Yeah, now you know money is just a tool to make the life you want it to be. What you
Right.
want from life.
Right.
So the last year you actually got to know yourself in a way, so you know what kind of tools you need to create your life. And it ain't much.
Right.
You need what we need actually when we actually figure it out. It's the figuring out that costs money.
Yeah. Yeah, I found out too that everything I could ever possibly need, I already have.
Mm-hmm.
We
learned that in Jesse's course. No, not Jesse, RJ's course, that if you don't have it, you don't need it.
Yeah.
That's normally, but we always are taught by the TV or commercials or whatever we're watching. Hey, you need this, you need 3 of these, 4 of these.
Yeah.
And you're never ever gonna use them, but you need them.
Well, on the other side of that too is that if you do have it, you think you need it.
It's like I often say about my TV. I don't really own it. It owns me. It takes my time, and I actually pay money for it to take my time.
Yeah.
But it is sort of relaxing sometimes.
Yeah.
And I like the new TVs. You can just log on the internet and go on YouTube and find like this genius Intel, or you can find something with RJ or with whomever you want to listen to. A lot of podcasts now have become so you can actually sit and watch something that has a little meaning to it, or a lot, compared to watching the news or watching some movie about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, I find the way that seems to work for me is if I I always use television as a relaxer myself, right? And but the thing is, it wouldn't really relax me. I kind of thought it did, but it really didn't. So learning to relax in a natural way is another thing that I've been learning. Is to just stop and do some breathing, or do some journaling, some magic writing, that kind of stuff, or those kinds of things.
It's all about taking one's discipline back. That instead of listening to somebody else tell a story on the TV, you actually get to sit down and write it yourself.
Well, yeah. And the one you write yourself is way more fascinating than anything anybody else could make up. Truth be known.
Yep. Because it relates to you.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're in a space like this. living a life without the trappings of the material world. Even if that's a possibility, it could be a good one.
Could imagine that gives a whole new structure to everything.
Well, yeah. And it's not the material stuff that's the problem. It's the whole structure it's in. It's really, yeah.
It confines one. It sort of, it becomes your own homemade prison.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, it's a house of cards too. So the thing is, if you were to take one of the cards out, the whole thing would fall down, and that's why it's so scary. Is because there's this whole house of cards dependency around all of this stuff that we think we need.
All right, now you're doing some preaching now.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Not that you weren't before, but
yeah.
Releasing has been like a undercurrent message that has arisen over the past maybe 3 or 4 days. It keeps like coming up. Yesterday, it got more pronounced for me.
Yep.
And I had experienced like this. I'm open to release. I'm open to living the moments in the moments. And being open to that, there's no comfort for old luggage. Like you can bring it if you want to into the current moment, but really it's not relevant to your experience. It's like, no, it's like a choice not to let it be energy, the old moments, not to be energy in the now moment. And so there's been like this pressure, and it's not like a pain pressure, it's like an emotional pressure that has been waiting to have a pierced opening to be expressed, like, because you can suppress a lot of stuff and not even realize that you're compacting stuff down just to deal with the day as the day is. But when you're dealing with it for the day as the day is and not breathing through the current life zones and the current meridians that are giving forth life, then you're suppressing and never, because you feel like you maybe don't have any power or any sense of direction as to where's the hope, the will, where, what does it matter kind of thing. And when you're under that kind of vein of existence, you're more reactionary to things, or thinking you got to hold things together, or thinking you got to hurry up and fix something before it becomes something that's escalated. That kind of stuff that has been suppressed and compacted down like in a garbage container that has never, ever been emptied out. It has stored up so much stuff. It's the cards, and it's false. It's the cards that have no foundation. And yesterday it was like, I was able to give like sunlight and breath. And then it was like, God, finally I can breathe. Like, let all of this crap like come up. You can deal with it because you don't even have to deal with it. Just release.
It's
But it had to
sort of
become evident. It had to become evident to release it. Back to you.
sort of coming to the realization that all the crap in our life we thought we had to deal with is actually other people's crap that they can actually deal with themselves.
I don't think it belongs to anybody. It's just crap.
Well, yeah, and everybody's interlocks with each other. You know, that's the crazy part of it. If you're
But we help co-create that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, exactly. And that's why, like, we have a vested interest in co-creating all that, which is why it's so hard to let it go. That's why it's so hard to remove ourselves from it. I mean, I was given the huge gift of not being able to keep it together anymore. Like, at the time that was happening, it felt like I was going to disappear in a puff of smoke. You know, and I hope like crazy that this experience here now is the tail end of that. But yeah, I just couldn't keep it. I just couldn't keep it together. I just couldn't.
And to that I say, happy birthday to
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got that. You got that message loud and clear. Wow.
I'm gonna put a picture in the chat. My last picture, if I can, if it allows me to. Photo, yeah. This is not a good one. Okay. This is the cracking of the outer shell with the sword of truth in thy words. Anybody can see that.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It's the birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you know, it's interesting too. While I've been here, I've sat through 6 different chapels already, or no, 5. 6th one is going to be this morning. But yeah, what's interesting too is my understandings of things that are presented are extremely different than what I'm sure everyone else is getting. So that's been interesting too.
Paper. It reminds me of your picture, a little like a quilt lying above a paper.
Yeah.
Actually, looks like there's writing on where it's lying.
Mm-hmm. That's writing. Absolutely. That
Like
is,
it's been encapsulated by time, that it's what's it called? Petrified. Isn't it that what you call when it turns to stone?
Yes.
Yeah.
what do you call it?
Petrified.
Petrified.
Like fossils.
Yes.
So it was ancient writing that has been preserved and fossilized over time.
It's truth that never goes out of style, or that never dies. You can cover it up, you can avoid it, you can be lost from it. But when you seek me, ye shall find me.
Mm-hmm.
And all the things you picked up along the way that don't serve you live in your evolution of truth, it cracks it away. Like us knowing who we are, it's dispelling like old connections that we thought we couldn't live without.
Well, Grant, folks, thank you. Great morning, great conversation.
Thank you for another great dinner.
Thank you.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
life
get
is
ready for another
interesting.
call. Yeah, good way to put it.
Okay,
You
big
all
love,
have a blessed
everybody.
day. Love and hugs.
Yep. Thank you.
Create the life you want.
Yep, let's do it.
We'll go out with this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let
Let it shine,
it
let
shine.
it shine.